We have Patrick Brewer calling from New Mexico. Mr. Brewer, please begin your testimony.
Firstly, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. Esteemed committee members, my name is Patrick Brenner. Thank you for allowing me to testify today. I'm a consumer advocate and the president of the Southwest Public Policy Institute. In January 2022, New Mexico adopted a rate cap law similar to House Bill 132. In New Mexico, the proponents of the measure said not to worry about the impact on access to credit. However, traditional banks and credit unions have not filled the void. I would like to ask you a question. With respect, have any of you actually tried to apply for a Wells Fargo small dollar loan? Because I have. Let's get real. The big bank small dollar loans don't practically exist. I personally tested the accessibility of emergency credit by applying for small dollar loans from major banks and credit unions in New Mexico in the aftermath of the rate cap. Despite applying to institutions like Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, Bank of America, and 15 credit unions, I was universally rejected by the banks. I received conditional approval from just 2 credit unions. I spent roughly 20 hours attempting to secure just one emergency loan, a task which is nearly impossible for most consumers, especially those experiencing financial emergencies. Why is this so difficult? Just looking at Wells Fargo, to obtain a small dollar loan, you first have to open a checking account, which requires you to have money in the first place for a deposit. And then you have to be a customer in good standing for at least a year with recurring direct deposits. Then they'll determine whether or not you are eligible. Credit unions have similar requirements, except that they conduct hard credit inquiries when you apply, which lowers your credit score and increases your borrowing costs. My credit score personally dropped over 100 points when I was just looking for a small $500 loan. I urge the committee to recognize the shortcomings of HB 132 as seen firsthand in New Mexico. The assurances that banks and credit unions would fill the void have not been met, and the complex and lengthy approval process, along with the negative impact on credit scores, create further disadvantages for subprime consumers. In closing, I ask the committee to oppose this legislation and consider these real-world impacts and the need for balanced regulations that ensure accessible credit for all. Thank you.
Thank you. We actually have a question for you from Co-Chair Fields and following that, Co-Chair Sadler. But for the committee's awareness, I want to keep questions for public testimony very tight, if any additional, moving forward. Thank you. Co-Chair Fields.
Through the chair, who funds the Southwest Public Policy Institute? I've never heard of that organization.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Who funds your organization?
We're funded by donors from across the country, private donors and individual supporters.
Okay, name your top donors, please, like your top 5 donors.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Sadler.
Thank you. Through the chair, Mr. Brewer, with respect, you fit a lot into your 2 minutes. I'd like to give the opportunity to give us like 20 seconds of summation of your arguments or your position, please.
My understanding is that the narrative being proposed by the supporters of this legislation has suggested that big banks and credit unions are going to step up and fill the gap. And what we've seen firsthand in the state of New Mexico, which implemented a rate cap just like the Alaska rate cap that's being considered today, big banks do not step up. Credit unions have not stepped up. They're ill-equipped and ill-prepared to handle applications for the specialized type of credit.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for everybody who's listening online,